What's going on, guys? It's Andrew again. Apparently, a couple people thought that my last video talking about alternative technique was a bit wordy, so I'm going to do my best to condense it for you guys while also keeping it informative. So first, I'm going to show you what the technique sounds like, and then if you're into it, stick around. If you're not, better luck with somebody else. So we're going to go highs, mids, lows. Sorry, I'm getting text messages. So that's a handful of them. I'll get more in depth into techniques and stuff and probably try to do a couple more later in the video. But anyway, so I call this alternative because so basically the standard operation is find your vocal fry, the throat rattle, find the grudge noise, and then with practice and dedication, you're going to take that fry sound and then project it into a scream. Well, after a long time of not being able to do that, I was just, I'd just mess around, hurt my voice. I would end up with a sore throat, super itchy and stuff. And eventually I just stumbled upon this technique. So what's opposite about this one is we're going to go step 2 to step 1. So we're not going to go throat rattle to scream. We're going to go all the pressure and tension it takes to make a scream and then drop into the scream. It's real simple. It's real easy. I'll show you. All right, so step 1 is going to be very similar to every other video. You're going to do the upset teenager. I'm not going to go too deep into this because I'm sure you've seen it before already. So big old lung full of breath, and then just let it fall out of you. Right? Through that sigh, you may have felt like a bit of a rattle or like a grit, a rasp sensation in your throat. If you got that, fantastic, because that's our starting point. So you're going to take that sound, as soon as the grit starts, you're going to stop it. And then you stop it by adding all this extra pressure. Now, this pressure comes from kind of like if you're trying to pick up something heavy or if you have to poop, right? So that, right? So you're going to go pick up a heavy paint bucket. You're going to go deadlift at the gym. You're about to do a bench press and you go to push it off you. You got to poop. So, you get the idea. So you're going to upset teenager, and then you're going to stop the sound with that abdominal pressure. So, so as the sound started, I stopped it with that pressure. Now, you'll know that you're on the right page with this pressure because if you keep it there and then intensify it, your face will start getting red. You might get distended neck veins. So I'll do my best to show you. So you saw that nonsense popping out. So if you can get that, you're on the right track. I even got a little bit dizzy. All right. Now, step 3 is I kind of cover this in my pressure legs because somebody else asked me about explaining more about how to apply the appropriate amount of pressure and stuff. So I have another video on that, but I'm going to tap into it here. All right. So you're going to take that pressure from step 2 and then fall into step 3. So step 3 is going to be I call it like a whisper breath or like the sip of water breath where you go, right? Now, to clarify, this breath is not the same breath as if you're trying to like you're trying to fog up a car window. It's not that kind of breath. It's that poppy breath, like a sip of water. That right? It's not. It's. Now, the reason that distinction is important is because for vocal fry, your chords need to be together. If they're open, you're just going to exhale, right? So you want them together. Now, that pop breath, in order to get that pop sound, that kind of sound, what's happening is your vocal folds are together, and then you're building up a very small amount of pressure underneath them, and then you get that pop because it's a sudden release of air pressure, right? And then you breathe it out. So, right? So where your practice comes in now, your responsibility as a vocal student or whatever. I'm not a teacher, but you know what I'm trying to say. Your responsibility is trying to dial in where to keep your vocal folds. Now there is no exact like if like it's there's no exact muscle control. Like if you're trying to like grab a baseball, it's like okay, I need to just dial off. There's no direct muscle fucking how much to take off. It's like I don't know. It's like trying to teach. I've said this before in another video. It's like trying to teach somebody how to cough, or like how do you teach somebody how to burp? Like you don't teach it; it just kind of happens. Now, again, like I told you before with me, is I've hurt my throat plenty of times. I've lost my voice. I never coughed up blood, but I definitely did get very raspy, very very dry throat. Best fix: go drink some water, wait an hour or two. If it's still in pain, just try again tomorrow. Now a lot of people that you may be watching their videos of, they're going to make it sound like your vocal cords are incredibly like fragile. They're not. Like you strain your bicep lifting a car tire or something like that. Like yeah, you're going to strain your bicep, but it's going to heal in a couple of days. Vocal cords are it's the same thing. You mess them up, they get better. Now, obviously, if you keep doing it the wrong way for too long, then that's where you start losing notes. You lose pitch ranges and stuff. So, like, just if you get an injury, just give it a day or two. Now, let's go into something else. Is vocal fry technique. You're going to get a tickle in your throat. There's no way to not, because it's a rapid vibration of tissue in your throat. You're gonna feel something, whether it be a tickle, a vibration, a buzzing sensation. There's going to be something. Now you're doing it the wrong way. You'll know basically like okay, I'm fucking myself up. But basically, if that tickling or vibration turns into anything that you can describe with like a temperature, like hey, my throat feels hot, stinging, burning, itchy. You feel like you got to reach for a glass of water instantly. That's how you know you're doing it the wrong way. Not to say that drinking water doing screams is bad, but anyway. All right, so let's go through the whole process here. Ready? So step 1. Step 1 and then step 2. Now step 1, step 2, step 3. All right. Now to get more into step 3, there is step 3 subsection B. As you let that poppy breath come out, you're going to notice that at the top, just like step 2, at the top it's a little bit raspy. Now, if you continue it out, just like you heard me do it just now, if you just follow through with the, you just start breathing, right? You're just exhaling. So again, this is where you need to do your due diligence and practice to maintain that grit at the top, because you hear it go gritty and then it goes breathy, right? Even that minimal amount you just heard, or maybe if you're trying to do it yourself right now, no shit. That's where you need to maintain that. Now, how you maintain it is keeping step 2 consistent. Keep that pressure consistent. Just the only thing you're doing behind it is step 3, the breath. So again, keep that up at the top at that grit portion, and then let it out into the breath. So I'll show you. See? It's too easy. See, even just now I'm getting a little bit of a tickle. But, it's not pain. My voice has not changed. I've been doing this for north of over a year, and the tickle is always there, the vibration is always there, but I never experienced pain. Okay, now, that is the end of portion 1. I have a couple other videos up going into more detail about some other stuff. I also have one covering what I call the cheaters method. You can click on my thing if you need to, but it's an even more simple version of what I just gave you. All right, so part 2 of the video is going to be some tongue placements. Now, keep in mind, I'm no professional. I'm no Phil Bozeman. I'm no, oh, what's his name? The fucker from Enterprise Earth. Like, um, but I do know a thing or two. So that's why you clicked on this video, is for me to teach you, right? All right, so your standard scream is just like I showed you. Now, let me pick a song real quick, just so you can hear that you can make words with it. Let's do Devil Wears Prada. I forget the name of the song, but he goes, "The sulfur infect everything that we've created." So I'm just going to be using that line over and over. So yeah, so as you're speaking, as you're vocalizing these words, don't change anything. Just don't change anything in your throat. Don't change the pressure. Just keep it all consistent. Just you may have to take a breath, and then with practice, after your breath, you'll be able to snap back into the pressure or whatever. But all in one breath, you should be able to keep your throat the same. Just keep this, like passive in the background, and then just change your mouth shape to make words. So, the silver infect everything that we created. Right. Oh yeah. So throughout you doing this, you're going to make some stupid faces, but as long as you can make the sound that you want, your face doesn't matter. So whatever. Don't be afraid to be loud. Don't be afraid to make stupid faces. All right. So some techniques to get into a higher register scream. So right. So I haven't warmed up my highs yet before the video, so they're a little bit off. So to flip up into a higher scream, let me get the lighting better. All right, so I'm going to use my fucking Adam's apple as a visual landmark. So this is my normal speaking voice, and then this is a higher pitch. I hate that. I hate my high voice. And this is a higher pitch voice. You can see my Adam's apple disappears up higher into my neck. So, so that's how you do a high scream. Do step 1, step 2, step 3, exactly how I just told you, but just raise your voice up. So if you don't know how to do that without actually like making a high, like a go into a high pitch range, and then just stop vocalizing, and then keep your throat where it's at. So, so all I'm doing is I'm just keeping my muscles up there. And then, so mechanically what you're doing is you're raising your larynx up higher. And then I don't know all about fucking vocals or whatever, but for some reason this makes your voice higher. Maybe it's because there's less space up there, so your vocal folds have less room to vibrate. I don't fucking know. But yeah, so. You see how it disappears? So again, higher range. The silver infect everything that. You get the point. Sure, I'm gonna piss off my neighbors in a minute. And then how to make it even higher is I learned this in band class in like 8th or 9th grade. So for the choir section, they were instructed if they have a hard time finding a higher range, raise your eyebrows, and then with that your ears might come up. Now this has no direct correlation to your throat. It just kind of tricks your brain into like making everything higher. Like it just raises everything up for some reason. Let's see. And then to hit a low, exact opposite. You're just gonna drop it way down here. Now that's your standard low. The sulfur infect everything that. Now to add some more color to it, to add more color to a low, I do take Phil Bozeman's approach to this one is I will tuck basically his approach to finding different tones. He said that he'll manipulate his body posture. So I find that for me, I will typically tuck like my jawline into my collarbone. And then it just makes my like, I don't know, like maybe just habit, but my throat just ends up finding the proper place to get the low that I want. Versus it adds a little bit lower of a bottom tone, and then there's also like a higher crackle on top. Second to that I enjoy doing is I don't know, I'm not going to coin any of these terms, but I flip my tongue vertically. So a lot of these people that you'll see in other videos is like they'll say push your tongue to the roof of your mouth, but they don't actually say is it like this or is it like this? Like I never knew because nobody ever says. So after some fucking around, I discovered that if I just flip my tongue vertically, um, it adds different colors to all three ranges, highs, lows, and mids. So right. All of that was with vertical tongue, and then with a higher tone, right? So you get the idea. With that technique, or with any kind of technique that requires tongue placement, or very particular tongue placement, it's going to be hard to enunciate. You'll hear it a lot in bands like Infant Annihilator. You hear this like him like yes, yes, like a muffled S or an F sound. It's because you can't move your tongue, so like you're kind of stuck. So like it's hard to enunciate, but you get some dope sounds out of it. Another common one that I'll turn to is I don't know if it has a name, but it's all over the internet. If I don't do a good job, I'm sure you can find it. But where the back of your bottom teeth, where your tooth and gum meet, you're gonna jam the tip of your tongue right there, and then push the rest of your tongue forward. Pretty easy, right? Now to get this one down pat, the trick to it is to close the gap between the corner of your mouth and your tongue. So not the bad way. Like you still get a different sound, but to get the one I'm trying to show you, you have to close that gap. So with a gap, and then without the gap. All right, so you still see a hole there, but deeper inside my mouth, it's like closing it off. All right. With this one, I can pretty consistently get two different tones out of it. I haven't done this in a minute, so maybe anyway, we'll see. So, yeah, so you're going to do your exact same technique I just showed you, A, B, and step 1, 2, and 3. Now with this, you can get even different sounds by kind of like retracting your head back. You can even hear my voice just change. So you're going to retract your head back and then look down. I sound kind of fucking nerdy, but now with this one, it's almost impossible to enunciate. So I have no metal music posted, but when I record my own music, here's my little setup. When I do record my own music, I never try to use this as the leading tone. It's more of like a second recording, like a backing track. But I'll show you. I'll try to enunciate for you. This will be checked. Yeah, it just sounds like one sound getting chopped up with the syllables. And then with a higher scream attached to it. Now a different one, I call it tongue in cheek. It sounds a little similar to the one I just showed you, with very minor differences. So if you want to learn it, go for it. I don't use this one too often, just because again I already know this one. So why would I do another one if it sounds almost the same? But a toolbox is no worse for having a second tool in it. So here we go. So you're gonna jam your tongue into the side of your cheek. Now, if you don't like it straight in the middle, you can kind of curl it up to pack it into your gum and cheek line. And then sometimes I'll bite down on my tongue, not like chew it, but like add pressure. Basically, what it's doing is it's closing my mouth, and it's compressing the space above your tongue. It's making less space, so it just comes out as a different sound. So, right. So tongue in cheek, again, all these examples, all these different things I'm showing you has the root, the base of it all is step 1, 2, and 3. Teenager, stop the sound, whisper, breath, and dial it in, right? I didn't like that low, but it's a 20-minute video. I'm not trying to retake it for fucking one sound. All right, so now we're 20 minutes and 30 seconds in. Now we're finally getting into warm-ups. So I probably did this backwards. So for warm-ups, I basically have 2 tips for you. Before you even approach screaming, whether you're good at it or not, before you even practice, before you do anything, I recommend finding a song that you enjoy and then singing along to it, right? So find a song that has singing in it. My go-to is Note to Self by From First to Last. Now, the reason why I picked this song is 1, I know the words, and 2, because Sonny's voice, his singing style, is a whole lot of energy. It's loud, and it takes a lot of diaphragm pressure, right? Which is the same pressure it takes to do step 2. That the only difference is he's singing, right? So I find that this warms up my throat. It warms up my ranges. It warms up, basically everything. And then I'll replay the song, and then I'll try to scream to it. And then as I'm screaming to it, and I start to notice any tickles or scratchiness or whatever, I'll do my best to not put my throat back in that position. And basically, if this is what hurts, I'm gonna do everything around it. So like, you know what I'm trying to say. My second tip I have is if you want to practice your vocals to music with screams in it, which obviously you're going to eventually, turn the music down. Whatever track you have that you're going with, turn it down. Because, one is if the music's too loud coming out of your speakers, you're going to try to match the volume of that music, and you don't need, these aren't incredibly loud techniques. Like, it sounds really loud when I did them because I'm in a small room, so there's plenty of walls for the reverb. It's really not that loud. And then also, when that vocalist was in the studio recording this, he sounds one way coming out, but then after mixing and processing and editing and mastering and all this nonsense, dual tracking, quad tracking in some bands, he sounds larger than life. But if you go and watch a studio session of that same vocalist, I want to say it's what's her name? Anyway, Spirit Box. She has a video of her doing a vocal take. Now the live recording and then the video or the official audio, 2 very different sounds. Because, like I said before, there's all these different editing tricks that go into it. So don't think that your favorite vocalist sounds that way in the studio. Like, oh, they're so much better live, or they're even worse live. Well, yeah, no shit. It's different. Like, it's not the same voice. But that's pretty much it. I hope you guys stuck around for this 24 minutes. Now, I'm not one to chase after follows and likes and subscribers, but what I do ask is if you need clarification on anything that I went over in this video, drop a comment asking what you want more help on. I will do my best to make another video. Or you can find me on Instagram, Andrew Gooley. Just shoot me a message and say, hey, whatever, I need help with this and this. Now, I do recommend Instagram because there is the audio recorder in the messaging, so we can actually talk. But yeah, guys, that's pretty much it. Thanks for your time.